right, let's jump up into this thing real quick. We all already know about what's been going on with Israel and Palestine. A lot of Palestinians have been able to return back to Gaza. Let's find out about what's going on.
Thousands of displaced Palestinians are now crossing into northern Gaza for the first time in over a year. Israel has agreed to allow their passage as part of the ceasefire deal with the militant group Hamas. Gazans began returning on Monday morning after waiting days to cross. Their return had been delayed after Israel blocked their passage, accusing Hamas of breaching the terms of the truce by not freeing civilian hostages first. The militants have agreed to release more Israeli captives this week in exchange.
It's not funny, but I just want to say, we be talking about the traffic here in Cali. Look at all them people in the middle of all the roads and all the carts and all of that. Sheesh.
Well, let's bring in DW correspondent Emily Gordine in Jerusalem. Emily, Israel is now letting people return to northern Gaza for the first time in over a year. Do we know exactly what they're returning to and if there is any help on the way?
So for international journalists, it's very difficult to answer that question simply because we have not been let into Gaza to report from there ourselves. But we have seen the footage that's come out of Gaza. We've also had information from humanitarian organizations. And ultimately, many Palestinians returning to northern Gaza will come home to their houses in ruins. We know that across Gaza, about 60% of buildings have been destroyed over the past 15 months. The number is expected to be even higher in northern Gaza, approximately 70%. There's also no infrastructure, no water, no electricity, no sanitation, and also no schools. And for aid organizations too, it will be very difficult to actually reach northern Gaza because, well, for a lot of the roads, around 70% of the roads across Gaza have been destroyed. And also there's lots of rubble that is still on the roads that you can use. So ultimately it will take a long time until northern...
Yeah, y'all can come back, rebuild this. Tragic.
Gaza and really the rest of Gaza, but northern Gaza in particular, will become remotely livable again.
Emily, we're looking at live pictures as we speak of one of those roads back to northern Gaza and the tens of thousands of people making that journey. The ceasefire is obviously crucial to that journey. How stable is the ceasefire?
Well, for one, Hamas has been severely weakened over the course of this war, and so they certainly have an interest in getting this ceasefire through. On the Israeli side too, we know that the public, that polls have shown us this over the past couple of months, is overwhelmingly in favor of getting the hostages out. So they are in favor of this ceasefire deal. But we also know that as part of the Netanyahu government, we do have ministers who are absolutely opposed to this deal. One party, the party of former National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, actually left the government over his opposition to this ceasefire deal. And his colleague,
he quit his job because they said we want peace. That's called demon time right there, dog.
Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, he's also warned and threatened Netanyahu that he will also follow suit if the deal progresses to the second phase and if fighting doesn't continue, in fact, after the first phase. But this ceasefire deal really isn't the only one that's looking a bit shaky right now. We're also seeing in Lebanon that Israeli troops killed dozens of Lebanese who have been trying to come back to their homes. So the situation there is also in trouble, to put it mildly.
Emily, all going to plan now. What happens in the coming days?
So in the coming days, we are expected to see the release of 3 Israeli hostages on Thursday, among them Arbel Yehud, who was actually expected to be released last week, but wasn't. And so these 3 hostages will be released on Thursday if all goes to plan, and then an additional 3 hostages on Saturday. All of this comes as the Prime Minister's office this morning also announced that northern Gaza was accessible for Palestinians again from this morning. So all in all, some positive signs there on the ceasefire, on the first stage of the ceasefire, continuing despite the hiccups that we've seen over the past few days.
DW correspondent Emily Gordine in Jerusalem. Thanks so much.
She looks so stoic. But I guess it's a sad story. There you have it. We have a ceasefire. We're hoping that the ceasefire holds, and there's a promise to return hostages. There was already a promise to return a hostage last week that fell through. So we'll see if they hold true to this one. And even with all of that said, though entry is being granted back into Gaza for the Palestinian people, it's not going to be an easy return because northern Gaza has been destroyed amidst all the chaotic happenings as of late. Oh, we just ask that God be with them and that his will be done. May the best happen. If you want to stay up to date with what's going on around the world, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, like, follow. It's your boy Chuck Diesel. Check me out across the internet. Chuck Diesel TLW on everything.